Okay, greetings one and all, and welcome to this math lesson. In this lesson, we will be looking at the topic combining like terms, combining like terms. Let's begin. Okay, let's look at this first question. And the instructions of this question is the following. They just want us to simplify. So here we have this algebraic expression. We have 8m plus 6m minus 9m. And notice that each term in this algebraic expression has the variable or has the letter m in it. And so since all of these terms have the letter m in them, that means that each term, all these terms together, they are like terms because all of them have m. And so since they are like terms, we can add and subtract them as normal. So we're going to add 8m and 6m. So let's add them together. What is 8 plus 6? Well, 8 and 6 is, if we add them, we just get 14. And don't forget to put the m as well. Now we bring down the negative 9m, put that there. Now what is 14 minus 9? Well, 14 minus 9, if we perform the subtraction, is definitely 5. And we put the m here. So our answer is definitely 5m. Let's move on to the next question. Here, they want us to simplify as well. Notice for this question, we have 3q plus 12 plus 2, open bracket, 3q minus 5. And our goal here is to simplify this algebraic expression. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply 2 times 3q. And what is 2 times 3? Well, 2 times 3 is definitely 6, and we keep the q as well. Now we say 2 times 5, and 2 times 5 is definitely 10, and we bring down the negative sign. So what we did is we multiplied 2 by every term that's inside of this bracket. And so we have 6q minus 10. So we basically distributed the 2 across this expression. So 2 times 3q is 6q, and 2 times 5 is definitely 10. So we have 6q minus 10. Okay, that's good for that side. Now we bring down 3q and 12. So we bring that down, 3q plus 12. And so that's what we have. Next, we're going to look at combining the like terms. So notice that we have 3q and 6q. 3q and 6q, they have the same letter in both of them. So they are like terms, 3q and 6q. So we combine them together. And so we bring them down just like that. And notice 12 and negative 10. Well, they are like terms because they're just regular numbers. They don't have no letters attached. So they are like terms. So these are just going to be our constants, our numbers that we're going to put together. So 12 and negative 10, we bring them down together. So we want to put what's like together. We want to group the like terms. Whatever is like, we put them together. Whatever is like, we put them together. So in this case, 3q and 6q are like terms, and 12 and negative 10 are like terms. We put them together. Now let's add 3q plus 6q. If you add 3 plus 6, you'll get 9, and you make sure put down the q. And we bring down 12 minus 10. We have to subtract. So 12 minus 10 is definitely 2. And so the answer is 9q plus 2. And that's our answer, 9q plus 2. Let's move on to the next question. Here we have 3q plus 8x. Sorry, we have 3x plus 8x minus 12x. And the instructions is simply to simplify the following expression. So we have this algebraic expression that we want to simplify. So we have 3x plus 8x. All of them are like terms. Each term here has x in it. So all of these are like terms, and so we can add and subtract as normal. Let's add 3 and 8. 3 plus 8 is definitely 11. And so we put the 11 right here, and we make sure bring down the x as well. We bring down the negative 12x, and we subtract. 11x minus 12x is definitely negative 1x. And since it's negative 1x, since negative 1 is the number in front, that's the coefficient. Negative 1 is the coefficient in front of the x. We just can write the negative. And so we just put negative x. And that means the same thing as negative 1x. You don't have to put the 1 in front. So the answer is negative x. And negative x implies, or that means, negative 1x. So if you see negative x by itself, that means negative 1x. But you don't have to write the 1. It's implied. So we mean that when we write it. So the answer is a negative x because 11 minus 12 is negative 1. Let's move on to the next question. Here we have this question, and it tells us to simplify. That's the instruction, simplify. So we have 2g plus 8h plus 5g minus 2h. And the idea here is that we want to combine like terms with like terms. We don't want, and we can't, add and subtract unlike terms, but we can add and subtract like terms. So only the ones that are the same, that has the same variable, that has the same letter, that we can group together and add them. Okay, so we have 2g and we have 5g. So we're going to bring the 2g and the 5g together. So we bring that down. All right. And then we have 8h and then we have negative 2h. So we bring down the negative 2h. All right. And we bring down the 8h. All right. Now, notice that we put the g's together and we put the h's together. All right. You cannot add g and h. Those are unlike terms. We can't add them, but we can add 2g plus 5g. And 2g plus 5g is definitely 7g. And 8h minus 2h is 6h because 8 minus 2 is definitely 6. Now, since we have 7g plus 6h, that's our answer. We cannot simplify it any further because g and h, they are unlike terms. 7g and 6h are unlike terms because they have different letters attached to them. So that's our answer. We leave it. Moving right along to the next question here, it says simplify. Notice that we have 5g plus 3, open bracket, 2f minus g. The idea here is that we want to take 3 and we want to multiply it by each term that is inside the bracket. So what is 3 times 2? Well, 3 times 2 is definitely 6, and we bring down the f. So 3 times 2f is 6f, and then we multiply 3 times g. 3 times g, and 3 times g is definitely 3g, and we bring down the negative sign. So we also bring down also the 5g and also the plus. So we have 5g plus 6f minus 3g. Again, the goal is to bring all of the like terms together. And notice 5g and negative 6g, they are the same. They are like terms. So let's bring them together. 5g and negative 3g. Let's bring them together. Okay, great. Now we're going to bring down the 6f. We're going to put it by itself because there's no term inside of this expression that is like, or is a like term to 6f. So we put it by itself. Now, what is 5g minus 3g? Well, 5g minus 3g is 2g. And so that's how we get the 2g here, plus 6f. We cannot simplify any further. So we cannot add the 6 and the 2 because these two are unlike terms and you cannot add or subtract unlike terms. And so our answer is 2g plus 6f, and that's our final answer. Moving right along, let's consider this question. It says simplify by collecting like terms. So we have to collect the like terms, group them together. The unlike terms, we can't add and subtract unlike terms. So whatever is like, we group together. So we group like with like, and then we perform our operations. So we have 6m plus 2d minus 4m plus 3d. Notice that 6m is a like term with negative 4m. So we're going to bring them together. We're going to group them, collect them together. And so we have 6m minus 4m. Now we have 2d, and notice that 2d is like with 3d. So we combine them together, 2d plus 3d. Now we can add and subtract as normal. So 6 minus 4 is definitely 2. Please do not forget the m that's attached. And then 2d plus 3d is 5d. And so the answer is 2m plus 5d. And we cannot simplify any further because 2m plus 5d, 2m and 5d are not like terms. They don't have the same letters, so we cannot simplify any further. Our answer is simply 2m plus 5d. Let's move on and let's consider another question. Here it says simplify. We have 8x plus 4x minus 5x. All of these are like terms, and so we can add and subtract as normal. 8x plus 4x, let's add 8 plus 4. 8 plus 4 is definitely 12. Do not forget to bring down the x. And so 8x plus 4x is definitely 12x, and we bring down the negative 5x. And so we say 12x minus 5x. Well, 12x minus 5x is definitely 7x. And so our answer here is 7x. Moving right along, let's consider this algebraic expression. And again, the instruction is to simply simplify. And so we have 8a plus 3b minus 2a plus 4b. The idea here is to group the like terms together, collect them together, and then simplify them, and then, perform the operation with the like terms. And so we have 8a and we have negative 2a. Both of them are like terms, so we're going to group them together. And then we have 3b plus 4b. They are also like terms, so we're going to group them together. And so 8a minus 2a is definitely going to be 6a. And then 3b plus 4b is definitely 7b, because 3 plus 4 is 7 and 8 minus 6 is 2. And so our answer here is 6a plus 7b. We cannot simplify any further because these two are unlike terms. 6a and 7b, they're unlike terms because this has a in it, this has b in it. They have different letters. They are unlike terms. We cannot simplify them. So our answer is 6a plus 7b for this question. Moving right along, we consider this question, and the instruction is again to simplify. Here, all of our terms in this expression has an x in it. And so that means that these terms are like terms. And so we can add and subtract as normal. So we say 3x plus 4x. All we have to do is add the 3 and the 4, and 3 plus 4 is definitely 7. So 3x plus 4x is definitely 7x. We bring down the 5x. So 7x minus 5x is definitely going to be 2x, because 7 minus 5 is 2. And we make sure I bring down the x. And so our answer here is 2x. Moving right along, we have another question here. It says 7g plus 2g minus 5g. Notice that each term in this expression has g in it. So that means that all of these terms are like terms. And so we can add and subtract as normal. So we have 7g plus 2g. And we know that 7 plus 2 is definitely 9. And so 7g plus 2g is definitely 9g. Remember, we keep the g. Now we bring down the negative 5g, and we say, what is 9 minus 5? Well, 9 minus 5 is definitely 4. We keep the g, and so 9g minus 5g is definitely 4g. So our answer here is 4g. Moving right along, we have this particular question, and it says simplify by collecting like terms. And so the idea here is that we have these terms, some are like, some are unlike. We have to collect the like terms together and perform algebraic expressions, or perform we have to group the like terms and perform our arithmetic operations on them, because we could do that with like terms. You cannot add and subtract unlike terms, or you could add and subtract like terms. And so that's why we're going to group all the like terms together. So we have 2a plus b minus 3a plus 4a plus b. Notice that all of the a's we're going to bring together. So 2a, we bring that there. Negative 3a, we're going to bring that there. 4a, we're going to bring that there. So all of the a's, we're going to bring them together. So 2a minus 3a plus 4a, we bring them all together. And then all we're left with is b's, because we have plus b, we bring that there, and we have another plus b, so we bring that there. And so let's perform the operations on the like terms. Let's begin with the a's. 2a minus 3a is going to be negative 1a, because 2 minus 3 is a negative 1. Okay. Now we bring down the 4a, we bring down the b plus the b, we bring them all down. Now we say negative 1a plus 4a. Well, negative 1a plus 4a is definitely 3a, because negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And since negative 1 plus 4 is 3, negative 1a plus 4a is 3. Think of it like this. You owe someone $1, but you have $4. Pay them back their $1, you are left with $3 left. So negative 1a plus 4a is definitely 3a. And then b plus b is 2b, because these are basically 1b plus 1b, and 1b plus 1b is definitely 2b. And so the answer here is 3a plus 2b. We keep it just like that because these are unlike terms. We cannot simplify it any further because you cannot add or subtract unlike terms. And so we keep it just like this. 3a plus 2b, that's our final answer. We cannot simplify it any further because these are unlike terms, and you cannot add and subtract unlike terms. You just leave it just like that. But if these were, let's say if this was 3a plus 2a, then we could combine them and say 5a, but it's not. So we have to leave it just like that. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have 3x plus 4y plus 5x minus 3y. Again, the instruction has to simplify. We're going to bring together our like terms. And so we have 3x and 5x. Let's bring them together. So we have 3x plus 5x. And then we have 4y minus 3y. So 4y minus 3y, we bring them together. Now let's add our x's, the terms with the x's. So 3x plus 5x is definitely going to be 8x because 3 plus 5 is definitely 8. And then we have 4y minus 3y. Well, that's definitely 1y because 4 minus 3 is 1. And so we have 8x plus 1y. We don't have to keep the 1 in front because, if you just put it as y, it means that the coefficient is 1 because once you have y by itself, it means that the coefficient is 1. So we don't have to put the 1 here. And so we drop the 1. And so this is equal to 8x plus y, which is the same thing as 8x plus 1y. We just don't put the 1. You can think of it as the 1 is invisible, okay? You don't need to put it. So 8x plus y. Let's move on to the next question. Here it says simplify. And notice we have 2 open bracket x minus 5y plus 6y. And so what we're going to do here is multiply 2 by every term that's inside this parentheses. We're going to multiply 2 by every term that's inside of this parentheses. So we say 2 times x, and 2 times x is definitely 2x. And we say 2 times 5, and 2 times 5 is definitely 10. And so it's going to be 2 times 5y, which is 10y, and we keep the negative sign. Again, 2 times 5 is 2x. Sorry, again, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 5y is 10y because 2 times 5 is 10. We keep the negative sign in front. And then we add the 6y, and so we do that just like that. And so we say 2x minus 4y. How do we get the 4y? Because if you look at it, negative 10, we have negative 10y plus 6y. Again, negative 10y plus 6y. And if you do negative 10 plus 6, again, negative 10 plus 6, that's going to be negative 4. And so the answer here is negative 4y because negative 10y plus 6y is going to be negative 4y. So the answer is 2x minus 4y. Let's move on to the next question. Here, they want us to simplify. And notice we have 4 open bracket x plus, we have 4 open bracket x minus 3 minus 3, and we have open bracket x minus 5. So the idea here is that we have to multiply 4 by every term that's inside of this parentheses, and we have to multiply 3. We have to multiply negative 3 by every term that's inside of this bracket. That's a very important point. We have to multiply negative 3 by each term inside of this parentheses. That's going to be a very important point when we come to that. So we have 4, we say 4 times x, which is going to be 4x. And then we have 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is definitely 12, and we keep the negative sign. Next, we say negative 3. We have to multiply negative 3 by each term that's inside of this parentheses. It's going to be negative 3 multiplied by x. So negative 3 multiplied by x is going to be negative 3x. And then negative 3 multiplied by 5 is going to be positive 15. Why positive 15? Because a negative and a negative multiplied by a negative is a positive. Remember, a negative multiplied by a negative is a positive. So that's how we get the positive, and 3 times 5 is definitely 15. And so that's how we do it. All right, let's move on to, the next part. What we have to do is we have to group the like terms. So we have 4x and we have a negative 3x. So 4x and negative 3x, we combine them together because they are like terms. And we have the negative 12. Negative 12 is a like term with positive 15 because they are just regular numbers. They are constants. They are definitely like terms. They're just regular numbers. None of them have any letters with them. So they are regular numbers that are like terms with each other. And so we bring them together. And so we have 4x minus 3x. These are like terms. And we have negative 12 plus 15. These are also like terms as well. And so we say 4x minus 3x. That's easy because 4 minus 3 is 1. And we keep the x. So 4x minus 3x is 1x. And then we say negative 12 plus 15. And negative 12 plus 15 is definitely positive 3. So negative 12 plus 15 is positive 3. So we bring that down. And so we have 1x plus 3. Now 1x is the same thing as writing x, because if you have x by itself, the coefficient that is implied there is 1. So if you have x by itself, that means that its coefficient is 1. So you don't have to put the 1 there. So we just let go of the 1. So the 1 is invisible, but it's there. At least you could think of it as it being still being there. Like you don't have to write it because when you have x by itself, it means 1x. So x plus 3 is our final answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And again, here we want to simplify. Notice that we have 3 multiplied by open bracket x minus 4 plus 2 open bracket x plus 7. And so here our goal is to distribute the 3 across this expression, which basically means we have to multiply 3 by every term that's inside of this expression. So we say 3 times x, which is definitely 3x, and 3 times 4, which is definitely 12, and we keep the negative sign. Next, we say 2 times x, which is 2x, and then we say 2 times 7, which is 14. I noticed that this question, I made a mistake because if you look carefully, this is supposed to be positive x, not negative. So it is actually positive because if you look at it, 2 times x is positive 2x. So I'm not supposed to have that as a negative. So 2 times x is positive 2x, and 2 times 7 is definitely 14. Now, well, what do? We bring down, okay, so we say 2 times x is 2x, and we say 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, good. Now we have 3x, we have a negative 12, we have positive 2x, and we have positive 14. So we're going to bring down the 3x and the positive 2x. And if we bring them down, let me change this. It's supposed to be 2x, positive 2x, positive 2x, positive. And so it's going to be 3x plus 2x. Okay, make sure I bring those two down. So we have 3x plus 2x. I made a mistake and I put a negative, but it's actually a positive. So 3x plus 2x is going to be here. They are like terms. And then negative 12, all right, plus 14 is going to be also together. So if we do it, if we say 3x plus 2x, well, 3x plus 2x is definitely going to be, let me change it. 3x plus 2x is definitely going to be what? 5x. So it's supposed to be 5x, okay? So 3x plus 2x is 5x. And negative 12 plus 14, negative 12 plus 14 is definitely positive 2. So it's actually 5x plus 2. So let me make sure I make that adjustment. 5x plus 2. And that's the correct answer. How do we get that? Let's run it back. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. We keep the negative sign. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. We combine the 3x and the 2x. And that gives us 5x, not 1x. And then we do negative 12 plus 14. And we know negative 12 plus 14 is definitely positive 2. And so we have 5x plus 2, and 5x plus 2 is our final answer. These are unlike terms, so we cannot add or subtract them. They would remain the same. They would remain just like that because they are unlike terms. Let's move on to this question. Here we have the instructions, which says to simplify the following expression. We have 3m minus 3m. It's actually supposed to be plus 8m. So let me make that next adjustment. It's actually plus 8m. So 3m plus 8m, okay, plus 6z minus 2z. All right, so how are we going to do this? Again, we have 3m plus 8m plus 6z minus 2z. And so we have to, well, the good thing about this question, which I like, is because both of these terms, like the terms are already grouped together, like the m's are together and the z's are together. So all we got to do is perform the expression. 6z minus 2z is definitely 4z. And 3m plus 8m, we just have to add 3 plus 8. And 3 plus 8 is definitely 11. So it's actually supposed to be 11. So it's going to be 11. Let me move this. This is not right. It's supposed to be 11m. So the answer is going to be 11m plus 4z. So the answer is, let me put this here, is this equal to, let me move this whole line right now. So it's going to be 11m plus 4z. 11m plus 4z. And so that means that this is not right. Nope. It's actually 11m. Okay, 11m plus 4z. Okay, plus 4z. That's the correct answer. How do we get that? Well, the good thing is that they already have it grouped together for us. So, well, 3m plus 8m, 3, 4, 5, sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 8m. And then 6z minus 2z is 4z. So it's going to be 4z. That's why it's 11m plus 4z. Let's move on to the next question here. They want us to collect like terms and then simplify. What are the like terms? Well, we have g plus g minus d plus g. So let's add all the g's together. Let's bring the g's together. So that's going to be g and g and g. Okay, so we have all the g's together. And then we have negative d and negative d. So let's bring them together. So even though we do not have any coefficients in front of these variables, like even though each letter doesn't have a number in front of them, when you have a letter that doesn't have a number in front of it, the number that is implied or the number that is there actually is 1. So this is actually 1g, 1g, and 1g. And what is 1g plus 1g plus 1g? Well, that's definitely going to be 3g. And if we have negative d and negative d, well, that's the same thing. Negative 1d and negative 1d, that's what it means. And so negative 1 and negative 1 is definitely negative 2. So that means that we have negative d minus d, which is definitely a negative 2d. So we have 3g minus 2d. And that's the answer. We cannot simplify this any further. These are unlike terms. And you only get add and subtract like terms. We cannot perform any operation with this because they are unlike terms. Let's move on to the next question here. It says to simplify by collecting like terms. So we have the good thing about this one is that all of these are m's. So each term here, each of these terms are like terms. So we just add and subtract as normal. And so we say 16m minus 4m. So 16 minus 4 is definitely 12m. 16 minus 4 is 12 rather, and then you keep the m. So 16m minus 4m is definitely 12m. We bring down the m, and so this is just like saying 12m plus 1m, and 12m plus 1m is definitely 13m, and so the answer here is definitely 13m. Moving right along, we have this next question. It says simplify. Here we have 7x plus 2y minus 3x plus 4y. And so the way that we're going to do this is that we're going to multiply 7 by each term in this expression. And then we're going to multiply negative 3 by each term that is inside this expression. So we say 7 times x, which is 7x. Okay. And then we say 7 times 2, which is 14. And we keep the y. And we say negative 3 multiplied by x, which is going to be negative 3x. And negative 3 multiplied by 4y is going to be negative 12y, because 3 times 4 is 12. A negative times a positive is a negative. That's a very important observation right there. So we're going to bring together the x's. So 7x and 3x, we bring them together. So 7x minus 3x are brought together, and then 14y minus 12y, we bring them together. 14y minus 12y are brought together, and so we say 7x minus 3x, and 7x minus 3x is definitely 4x, and then 14 minus 12 is definitely 2, and so the answer is 2y. 14y minus 12y is definitely 2y. So the answer here is going to be 4x plus 2y, and that's our final answer for this one. Moving right along, we continue. Here we have 6m plus p plus 3p minus 2m. And so the idea here is that we want to bring together these two expressions. We want to bring together the terms, or the terms that are like. So we see that the m's are the same. So we say 6m minus 2m. We bring them together. And then we have the p's. The p's are the same. So we say p plus 3p. And so we bring them together. And so let's combine them. So we have 6m minus 2m. We perform the operation. 6m minus 2m is definitely 4m. And p plus 3p, well, this is p, but it's actually 1p, because every time you see a letter by itself, the number that's in front of it is definitely 1. So this is 1p plus 3p, and 1p plus 3p is definitely 4p. And so we have 4m plus 4p, and that's our answer right there. These are unlike terms, so we cannot simplify it any further. We have to leave it. Moving right along, we have this question. And here the instruction is simply to simplify. We have to simplify this algebraic expression. Notice how we have 6d minus 2h plus 5h minus d. So we're going to bring the d's together. So we have 6d minus d, so we're going to bring them together. And then we have negative 2h plus 5h, so we're going to bring them together as well. And so we say 6d minus d, which is really saying 6d minus 1d, and that's 5d. And then we say negative 2h plus 5h. Negative 2h plus 5h is positive 3, because negative 2 plus 5 is definitely 3. So negative 2h plus 5h is definitely going to be 3h. So the answer here is 5d plus 3h. And that is our answer. That brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.